Greetings and welcome to a friendly debate. As you can probably guess, Amy has yet again failed in the simple task of writing an intro for that friendly debate list.
It's true. I'm not going to deny
No,
it.
look at it there, unrepentant.
Unrepentant and so. I did.
Yeah.
I did the dumbass thing. So you remember when we did the last episode, and I was like,
A
"Fuck!"
very
I
long
got
time ago,
I got laser on my face.
yeah.
So I scheduled the recording of this episode, and then I was like, "Fuck! I'm getting laser." So the bottom of my face is all fucked up.
I think that's kind of like the last time we did one of these.
It's exactly what happened last time we did one of these.
Although last time you were doing an impersonation of a bandit, or
Can't be asked with
possibly
that now.
Market Ninja.
Yeah. Funnily enough, when your face is overheating because it's been lasered, covering it with a jumper for like an hour and a half isn't a great idea. Go figure. Learned that the hard way.
Who'd have thought it? So, that has been something of an intermission. It's almost as if at the end of every year there's a lot of work and holidays and family time and other things which take us away from, recording podcasts. Who'd have thunk it? So, this is a return, and this is the first friendly debate of 2020. And Amy, do you know what that means?
I'm gonna win, even though there are no winners.
It means it's the first one of the new decade. An entirely new decade for you to ramble on about computer games. I mean, for us to patiently debate the pros and cons of various games and put them in some sort of completely undefinitive order, because let's face it, nobody is pretending that we've got like a definitive list here. But we are going to make a list. So for today's episode, we've both come with a list of 10 video games. And would you, Amy, like to explain what these 10 games are going to be?
Well, there's 18 on the list overall because we both came with 10. Two of them were crossed over, and
Mhm.
that means there's 18 because maths. The, Let me walk you through the new look. There's no whiteboard anymore. So now no one can see our faces. You can do whatever you want with that. You can still hear you though. This is the new order. On the left hand side, it's the list that we will populate. On the right hand side, it's the list that we're working from. So you can see the whole list of 18 games. The two
Yeah.
ones, things that are in italics, are the ones that we crossed over on. I showed Keith my list because he was always complaining that he never got to see the list in advance. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we are going to take turns going backwards and forwards, trying to cut this down to 10 games, which we'll then order into a top 10 list on the left hand side. What'll happen is Keith will go first. He'll pick a game to cut. He'll make an argument to cut it. I will give a rebuttal if I feel like it. Sometimes we don't give rebuttals. Sometimes we just nod and go, yeah, that's fair. And then it will be up to Keith and Keith alone to decide whether that game gets cut or whether it gets a stay of execution. If it gets a stay of execution, it gets one of these, a star next to it. So, we've tried to cut it and it hasn't
It
been.
didn't work.
It didn't work. We get a lot of those sometimes. And I have a feeling top 10 games of the decade 2010 to 2019 is going to be contentious once we get into the thin end of the wedge.
Let's
Um,
be fair. Both of us are going to get murdered if anyone actually watches, because there are some games that are not on this list
yes,
that will get us, crucified.
I was about to say this is our top 10 favorite games of the decade. So this
Yeah.
isn't top 10 best games or top 10 most important games or most influential games. Those would be very different lists. This is our top 10. We both went with our gut. We both had massive unwieldy lists of fucking 20 to 30 games each, which we cut down to 10. And that's that. I think I've explained everything that I need to explain. I can definitely take it off that and switch back to this. Hello.
Hello again.
There's a slightly different rule set for when we actually come to ordering the top 10. We'll get into that when we get up to that part.
But for now, we need to cut 8.
There was, oh yeah, don't take these lists too seriously because we sure as shit don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to cut it.
Cue the knife fight. I mean,
Well, I still have the screwdriver, which I threatened to stab you with once. I don't even remember what that was for.
yeah.
I need to look
What's
back over the
amusing
old
is
episodes.
every time we've done this in the last year, I have actually had a knife on my left hand side.
You're saying I need to step my game up. It's basically what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I've got a lot of modeling supplies over there, so it's more likely I'd grab a paintbrush if I wasn't looking, but I do actually have some modeling knives over there.
On guard. You grab a paintbrush. I just grabbed the microphone off my headset. Shit. Ooh, a tiny weapon standoff. I don't even remember what that's from. I was
Chuck.
yes, it's Chuck. It's Timothy Dalton. Thank you.
Timothy Dalton gives the line, but it's Chuck.
Oh, cool, a tiny weapon standoff. Anyway, we should probably stop wasting people's time. They're here to see us talk about video games.
Yes, not give pop culture comment. Right then.
Technically,
So,
that's what this is. You go first. I go
As
second.
is
You go
tradition.
third. Back and forth.
I will suggest a game that I think should be cut from this list. However, as we haven't done like the Hall of Fame recently, I'm going to give you a bit of a clue to which game I'm going to cut first. This game
Oh god.
came out the day before my brother's birthday last year.
I mean, there's only one game on this list that came out in 2019, so that's helpful. That's not a clue as so much you've just pointed at the.
Yeah. So, Amy, tell me why Disco Elysium should make it into the top 10.
Here's the thing. Like I said, we had this long, complicated discussion about favorite games versus best games, because Disco Elysium wasn't my game of the year last year. It was close, but like that happens all up and down this fucking list. Disco Elysium, I think in a few years' time, it's going to be remembered as something that like had a massive impact on CRPGs in general. Like, it does a lot of things really, really like. For starters, it's not only combat. Like, there's no combat in the game. It's a CRPG without combat. That's unheard of. Like, there's always like stats and swords and stabs and like whatnot. You know, like Baldur's Gate, Divinity, Neverwinter Nights. This is instead a game which you should play, and I think I might be able to convince you to do that with this counter argument. This is a game which is you play a cop in a completely made up city called Ravishaw, and you're there to investigate a murder. And the game starts, and you got there 3 days early, and went on the most epic drinking bender of all time, to the point where when you start the game, you have amnesia. You can literally remember nothing because of this epic hangover that you've got. The first thing you've got to do is find your clothes, because they're all over the hotel room that you're renting. And your neckties on the ceiling fan. And I've told this story millions of times on the podcast since we did it. Like, if you roll your stats to the point where you've only got 1 health, you have to make a stat check to get the necktie down from the ceiling fan. So the first thing you can do in this game is die. The ceiling fan kills you. I died at one point in this game because I was vigorously nodding. Like, I was in an interaction with someone, and he nodded, so I nodded, so he nodded, and I was like, this is fucking great, I'm just going to keep nodding. And then I nodded, and then he nodded, and then I nodded, and cricked my neck, and that was my last point of health, and I died. Like, that's what kind of game this is. When you do skill checks in this game, or when skill checks happen, you don't just like, you roll some dice, and it shows you the dice on the screen, it tells you whether you passed or failed, and you can do stuff like there'll be some hilarious consequence or something. Like, you'll be running away from someone, and instead of running out of the door, you'll run and you'll trip over the person in the wheelchair that you didn't see while you were trying to flip the guy off by doing what you thought was a really impressive escape out of the window. But your skill checks and how your skill checks inform you, instead of just giving you a blurb or exposition, like, they'll just talk to you. All of your skill checks are voices in your head. So, like, if you walk past some graffiti on a wall and, like, you've got the skill check high enough to recognize what that graffiti means, you'll start having a conversation about it with the skill check in your own head. Your skill checks will argue with each other. If two of them like think you should do two different things, they'll just start having an argument. This game is amazing. I got a message off Tom when he was playing it last year. He called it the Tom Cusick simulator, and I kind of get why. I also had a half an hour conversation with the police department because I had to explain to them that I'd lost my badge, and by lost, I threw it in the river during the bender. I never found my gun either, which is kind of worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my argument. This game is fucking amazing. And in a few years, like, there'll be games coming out in a few years that'll be like taking heavy inspiration from this. And also, it's the studio's first ever game, which is impressive because it won like 4 Game Awards.
So now that you've given me discussion of Disco Elysium, are you thinking that it should be in
No.
the top 10?
I think it should be on the discussion, but it's definitely a game I picked that I knew was going to get cut as soon as it came up.
Yeah, it's just getting name checked, really.
Sort of. I think if we reran this exact list in like say 2 or 3 years, I might like try to make the argument that it would get put on the top 10.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just too new. It's one of those things where it's like it's too new.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when you're talking about all of the games over the course of a 10-year period, like 3 months is not quite enough time to sort of be like, is this a better game than say God of War, or on a par with God of War? Like I think it might be, but I have to give it some time.
Yeah, I had some thoughts about that along lines of Control, but eventually I kind of went with, I can think of enough negatives about this game that I'm not going to put this in.
Yeah. There's games I put on where I can think of negatives about them. We'll get to those in a bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to sell you the game at this point because I think you'll fucking love it. If you're gonna go for the necktie on the ceiling fan, just make sure you've got 2 health, just in case. Game will be over 20 seconds after it starts. Right, so I have to pick something to cut now.
Yep.
Let's look up and down this list. Battle Chasers Night War is a game I really enjoyed when I played it. I really enjoyed it, and the art style is incredible.
The art style is beautiful and incredible. It kind of looks like some of the I mean, it's based off a comic, so you'd expect the art style to be good. But the art style is amazing, and the music is still stuck in my head when I look at the images. It just comes straight in. It's just like bouncing up and down slightly in that Final Fantasy way to do.
Yes, this is a JRPG after all.
It's still installed on Steam, on my Steam profile. I've never gone back and done the New Game Plus. I may one day do it.
But why should it be on the top 10? Or should it be on the top 10?
This is the thing. It's like it's a beautiful game. It's great music, wonderful game to play and everything, and find and replayability and everything. Loads of stuff to find and everything. But I just adored it. It's like the game came out. Let's just have
2016.
2016. No.
2017.
2017. 3rd of October 2017. So it's been a couple of years, and I still love it, and I still look at it occasionally and just go, should I log that up? Should I go for the New Game Plus? And I haven't deleted it in 2 years. Now, I will admit I have mobile phone contacts from college still on my phone, but I'm not usually like that with video games. And I just kind of wanted to mention because I can't think of a reason for it to get into the top 10. But when I was going through the game, it's just yes, this deserves to be mentioned. It's like it's 2 years on. I want them to make a sequel to this video game that they made purely because like the comics were like cancelled too early for the guy that made it. Was the developer, and yeah, I mean, I followed the development studio, hoping that one day these days I'm going to see like a new game announcement from them, which is going to be the next Battle Chasers.
What are they
Um,
making? Every time you mention this, and it comes up really frequently, you annoy the shit out of me because I'm like, they're making something. I know they're
I had
making something.
last time I saw anything about them was the Switch port of it.
No, they're making a new game. They're making the JRPG style League of Legends spinoff.
Mm.
Which I
Right.
mean, cool. I'm more interested. I'm really interested.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah, I can't see that game actually making it in the top 10. Um, but it's a game I felt needed to be mentioned because it's such a niche game. It's a video game created by the creator of the comics, about comics series, which was well loved but never really took off. It's pretty niche, but it's an amazing game. It's an amazing feeling, playing it. So I figured it needed to be mentioned. But yes,
Well, so far we've we're successfully identifying the easy pickings.
yeah,
Sometimes that doesn't happen right away. Sometimes one or the other of us will go straight for the thing we're trying to get to number one.
yeah,
By accident.
yep.
All right,
So,
turn it back. Turn around.
Amy, let's discuss a contentious item on this list.
Which one?
Overwatch.
Is it contentious?
Well, it's had its ups, it's had its downs, it's had its boycotts.
I don't have a boycott it. I mean, I uninstalled it. I wasn't really playing it that much anyway. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a contentious entry on this list. It's one of a great number of first person shooters. There are more first person shooters on this list than I would have thought, given that you and I are the ones crafting this list.
yeah. I don't really consider like it to be a traditional first-person shooter,
I never said it was a
given that
traditional first person shooter.
it's entirely a online experience, a team-based online experience.
Oh yeah, there's no team
Um,
based online first person shooters, but like you got to admit, I mean, for starters, the seismic impact that this game made when it came out
yeah,
it would be like my first argument point of like why it deserves to be like recognized as one of the best games of the decade. The second is the hundreds of hours that I playing it. I'm not going to speak for yourself, even though I know you played it more than I did. Like there was
yeah,
a point in time after they did the patch where they took out like the no limits, where it was like
yeah.
one hero per one of like each hero per match, and after they like nerfed shield,
Mm.
between then and then before the fucking tank meta, which
Yeah,
was a sizable window of like a year and a half.
goats.
Yeah, that's a sizable window of a year and a half where this game was magical. Like it was so fucking good. Like, and the thing is, it's still so fucking good. It's just now it's like it's not as much my jam as it used to be.
Yeah,
But I mean, like we used to play this nightly at one point. Like, and there used to be a fair amount of us playing it as well.
mm.
Like it was never just a case of I was playing it every night or the two of us. It was like no, it was like four of us, five of us, six of us playing this on a nightly basis. Like it
The
endures
only
in
game,
pop culture so much as well.
the only game the entire Words About Cast crew, with the exception of Patrick, have been online at once playing.
Yeah, it's like there was a point before Patrick came on board and Mr. Moody came on board where it was like everyone who contributed to this YouTube channel or the Twitch channel was all playing the same fucking thing. That
Yeah.
never happens. That's
We
why
all-
there's
we all
18 items on this list.
Yeah, it's like we all had our own designated roles.
We did. We made a team. We were really good. We had a lot
Yeah.
of fun. Um,
Me and Tom were support. You were hashtag Team Tank.
Bli- I mean, listen, I'm. I spent 5 weeks talking about Blizzard last year
Yeah.
for reasons that have nothing to do with the game Overwatch. Like I know, right? I'm still mad at them. But I can't deny how much I got out of this game. Because when you talk about like best games of the decade, and I'm looking at some of the other things on this list, a lot of the other things on this list I played once, like over the course of a week or 2 weeks or a month. Like I played Overwatch from 2016 to 2019. Like that's almost a quarter of the decade. That is a quarter of the decade. That's 2.5 years. Yeah, like a quarter of the entire decade I was playing this game. But is it better than 10 other games on this list? And the honest answer is I don't know. I'm going to leave that in your capable decision
My
making.
my capable hand. Oh no. Oh no. I'll be honest. I haven't played everything on this list.
I know.
Um,
It
there's
physically
a lot
hurts.
of them. Um, and I did love the kind of the distraction that Overwatch brought, and I do kind of like I loved what they were doing with the whole first person genre. It wasn't a loot shooter. It wasn't oh, go out there, like, like go beat everyone else, be the top person on your team. It's like, no, we're
Depends.
gonna make you we're gonna make you play as a team, an actual team, not a lot of people just running around trying to out like score each other and like making like harsh words at each other. We're gonna try and build a camaraderie and stuff. And yeah, I agree. This game kind of like deserves credit for that.
Fucking nailed that. It
Yeah,
fucking nailed that. Because if you don't play as a
yeah,
team and the other team is playing as a team, you're just getting fucking steamrolled.
yeah, and it happens a lot. Why did you go Hanzo? We already have an Anna Widowmaker and no tank. Flashbacks. Um, yeah, I understand. I give the props to that. But I think there are better games out there.
I mean, oh, this one hurts. This one hurts a little bit. Just a little bit, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Keith, I need to do. You said this was the contentious item on the list, and I
Yeah,
disagreed. But I'm about to make a contentious
yeah.
pick for being cut here,
Hmm.
and that contentious pick for being cut is Portal 2. And part of that reasoning is I didn't like it as much as everyone else did. I didn't think it was as good as everyone else did. Like, I mean, the Portal stuff was still really fucking awesome, like it was in
Hmm.
the first game. And the story and the humor, chef kiss.
Indeed, yeah.
But everything they added to that game that wasn't from the original, again, apart from the story and the character work, I'll give them that. Cave Johnson's speech about lemons is a sound clip on my Twitch channel for a reason, because it's amazing. Go burn your house down with the lemons. I'll build a lemon. Like, you can get that shit on t-shirts. But
Yeah.
like all the other stuff that they added, like the fucking moon goop, whatever the fuck that was, where I mean you were
Hmm.
bouncing all over the place or whatever. Like I only stopped playing the game at that point. Like I didn't like that. It's an excellent game. It was nowhere near one of my favorite games of the decade. Discuss.
Um, Moon Goop, yeah. Um,
Moon goop. What the fuck was that called?
I know the panels that you could build, like you could make the portals on, are made of the material harvested from moon rock.
That
The
was the.
goop stuff that you bounce up and down on the floor with, I can't remember what that was. Um, I did, however, like some of the signs in the game, the little nods and little Easter eggs, like when you're walking along, this is like the time travel experiment. It's like, what was it? Warning: this experiment contains traces of time travel. And there's like an image of you, like two people talking. It's like if a future version of yourself tries to talk to you, don't avoid eye
I mean, the
contact and don't.
posters again. I put that in the same thing as the story and the humor.
Yeah, and the Wheatley. Um, I enjoyed the game.
I
It was a
enjoyed it.
good puzzle game. I played it a lot later than other people. Um, so it was a good game, and I played it maybe like I don't know, maybe 2016. Like
Came
it was a
out in
long time.
2011.
2011. Yeah, it was a long time after the game had came out that I played it. Um,
I played it pretty much when it came out.
a lot of people like rave about it. Like it's normally on the list. I did look at a couple of 100 lists just to try and remember what games came out in this, and Portal 2 does, yeah, it does often come up in like the top half of the like the better half of the like the 50%. But
Oh, I
yeah,
mean, if I was doing a top 50 game of the decade list, all of
yeah,
these games would be on that list.
yeah,
100%. Even Portal
and a
2.
lot more.
And a lot more.
Yeah, yeah, I don't mind Portal 2 going.
That's fair. Like, yeah, it's weird. I didn't gel. That's called gel,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna make a pun. I didn't gel with it as a
Da
lot
da
of other
da da
people
da
did.
da. What?
Plus, Antichamber was a thing, and that was to me a puzzle game I enjoyed a lot more.
Mhm.
Don't know why I'm highlighting that because there's no way I'm cutting that. That's bad. So let's flick the screen over really quickly. It's so much easier than a whiteboard and awkwardly trying to hold a whiteboard up in front of my camera. So here's where we're
Indeed.
at. We've gone for 4 picks. We've got 4 games. We didn't actually list the games for anyone who was listening and not watching. So apologies for that. We're a little rusty. It's been a couple of months. We're back. We're going to be back on schedule now, though. The games we have cut: Battle Chasers, Night War, Disco Elysium, Overwatch, and Portal 2. The games that are left: Bloodborne, Doom 2016, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Halo Reach, The Last of Us, Mass Effect 2, Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, Monster Prom, Nier Automata, Red Dead Redemption, Stardew Valley, Titanfall 2, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. So we're 4 away from building a top 10 list. This is probably the fastest we've ever gone
Mhm.
in the
I
opening
think,
section.
yeah, I think it's because we both kind of like looked at the list, and the first one to choose we knew was the Sacrifice of Lambs. Of we just want this game mentioned.
The first one for me, definitely. The second one, I could have gone either way.
Mhm.
Um, there's some hard
So
choices coming up, though.
there is, and I'm looking at like a pair of ones that you've got on here now, and it's like, which one does Amy love more?
All of them. I love all of my children equally.
We both know that's not true.
It's not true in the slightest.
Yeah. So Amy, tell me about Stardew Valley.
Oh, you going there, are you? It's a game.
Well, yeah, yeah. I was just thinking about my brother many.
Yeah, your brother texted me. So there's a little bit of backstory. I mean, I was having Stardew Valley on the list anyway. By the time I got this text, I'd already done my top 10. And you sent me a text because you talked to your brother Paul about this, and he had said Stardew Valley was the game of the decade, and I was like, it's on my top 10. I didn't tell you that because you were still making your list, but I was like, it is on my top 10. But the message I sent back was, I don't think I could win that argument. Like, I might be able to get it in there. There's no way I'll get it at number 1. Like, I have pulled off some amazing carries in Friendly Debates history. That's a carry too far. But as for why Stardew Valley's on here, did you like? I found this out this morning. Like, it just passed 10 million copies sold, which has nothing to do with the quality of the game. I just thought it was worth mentioning that a game originally created by one person has one of the biggest games in the world. I just really love that. But no, like Stardew Valley is a game. I bought it, downloaded it, played it. The first time I sat down to play it, I was like, cool. I'm gonna make a review of this. It was a few months after it had come out, so I knew there was hype for it. But it was a little some. But it was a lot. I was late getting to it. And I was like, cool. Like, I'll try it out for an hour or two, and then I'll go to bed at a reasonable hour. And I sat down, played it. 12 hours later, when the sun had come up on a brand new day, I was like, I should probably stop playing now. Like, it's been long enough. And, I went to bed. Woke up a few hours later. I was like, cool, ready to start a new afternoon, because it was pretty much afternoon by that point. I
Yeah.
sit down. I played Stardew Valley for another like 8 hours. Like, there's something about this game that like I can't just play it for like a little bit. Like, you get into this rhythm of just like, I have to do this, which will then let me be able to do this, which will then let me be able to do this. It's like Civ.
Yeah,
You
that
play
I was
Civ.
about to make a joke about that. Just one more turn.
Yeah.
Just one more turn.
It's like in Civ, you're always constantly like, because there's always something else that you're just about to do. That's what the one more turn thing comes from. In Stardew Valley, it's exactly the same. It's like, oh, I'm just about to be able to do this, and then you do it, and it's like, well, I'm just about to be able to do this, and then you just keep going and going and going. It's one of the most charming games on this list. Not the most. I have a feeling the most charming game isn't making it either, though. But it is. It's fun. It's phenomenal. It is a phenomenal game that came out of fucking nowhere. Like, to be this indie game that like sold 10 million copies. Like, indie games don't sell 10 million units. Some of the fucking AAA games on this list haven't sold 10 million units.
Is it not just a two-dimensional My Time in Portia?
It is, but this game did come out first,
And I was just making a little joke.
and it is the better game. I love My Time at Porsche. You know that. Fucking
I do know that.
YouTube and Twitch know that, and Twitter. But like, Stardew Valley is a game like I've got it reinstalled on my PC, right? Like, for streaming it this year, because I was like, I want to sit down and stream. I want to stream Stardew Valley, because for all the time I played it, there was still so much more that I could have done before I broke the addiction. And it wasn't a case of I just stopped playing it. It was like I had to fucking stop playing it. Like, that's how bad it got. So I've reinstalled it. But I'm genuinely scared that I'm gonna, because I'm only supposed to stream for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. I'm genuinely scared I'm gonna end up just like doing these like fucking mega 12-hour streams, just playing Stardew Valley, and everyone's gonna be telling me to go to bed. Like, I'll just end up accidentally doing a 24-hour stream.
Yeah,
I'm playing this
like
game.
accidentally just played for the entirety of a charity stream. It's just
I'm just
you
gonna
doing
start-
that. You go off to have like some food, and Russell just comes down and plays Kerbal Space Program.
Yeah, I'll just
In the
I'll just
background, and just getting through some books.
I'll just start with Stardew Valley while we all get situated. Yeah, cool, all right, cool. And then it's just like the next 24 hours of the charity stream, and just you two just like, get off the stream. We won't, like, it's my it's like, it's fine. I just need to do this one more thing. Like, 10 hours in, I'm just being wrestled away from the. It's almost like, no, Leia, no. She's one of the people you can marry.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, it's even a game, and you know how much I hate this activity in like every game ever. It's even a game where I did the fishing.
You hadn't even. I knew, which is why I did the caster motion.
Yeah. Like, I did the fishing in Stardew Valley.
I did that in World of Warcraft. I found it
I
bizarrely calm.
fucking hate fishing. Final Fantasy 15, hated it. World of
Yeah.
Warcraft, hated it. Nier Automata, did it once because you get the joke ending, because if you eat a fish, you die.
Yeah.
Still hated it. I don't want to cut off this list. Like, sorry, just
You want to put a
put a cap on. I know it's your choice. That
Yeah,
them's the rules.
put the star next to it. We'll come back to it. And so
When it's in the top 10. Right, what the fuck am I going to try and cut off of here? Jesus Christ. Have you seen this list?
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to hurt so much. Keith, tell me why Monster Prom is one of the top 10 games of the decade.
Damn, that is not the game I thought you would have went for.
It was between two.
Yeah.
You know what? No. Can I change my mind? I want to change my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still don't know if it's going to make it to the top 10 when all said and done. I'm changing my mind. Keith, tell me why Final Fantasy 15 is one of the top 10 games of the decade.
So, Final Fantasy 15. Or the Stag Do is another way to put it. Yeah, because you basically play as a young prince being taken to his wedding by his best mates on a road trip in a car. Of course, that's not how the entire game unfolds. But that was basically the beginning premise, and it promised to be this wonderful exploration of just male friends. It's a big departure from a lot of the Final Fantasy games that I've seen. I've played a little bit of a lot of games. This is actually the only one I've ever finished.
I mean, it's not the
And
only
a lot
game
of
you've ever finished.
yeah, Final Fantasy 15 Final
Yeah.
Fantasy game I finished up. It's very different to the cast of characters you normally see, and there's a very different tone to all of the Final Fantasy games that I've played. I know Final Fantasy 7 has its dark moments.
Has its this is an Umbrella Corporation moment. I feel like in the making, it has its dark moments is a bit of an undersell.
Yeah. Yeah, but spoilers. Um, there's no good ending really in Final Fantasy 15 for any of the characters. For any character, there are three characters. No, two characters who I think that you have any sort of meaningful relationship with in the game who actually live, as far as I'm aware. The little sister of one of the main characters, and what's her name? Blonde from the garage.
Sid.
Sid. Yeah, I knew it began with S, and I couldn't remember it.
No,
It's
it's
been a
Sid.
while.
That's the Sid. Because there's always a Sid in Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
This Sid had boobs. You could tell because they were on full display.
Mhm. Yeah. It was there was a couple of things which were like, I can't believe you had this character like wander off and do something for a DLC and comes back with a scar, and it's like you don't get to experience that story. You don't understand why he disappeared and came back. You don't understand any of this if you don't play the DLC, if you don't buy it.
Yeah.
That
Final,
was
Final Fantasy 15
that.
has a couple of problems like that.
Yeah, it did, but otherwise, it was a great story for like it's like the story will have a beginning, middle, and end. And yeah, they cut little bits out and put them to the side, but that story was amazing, and I loved this exploration of just these
Brotherhood.
men. Yeah, it was like male bonds, which was just wonderful. And it's like, oh yeah, we've got the guy who cooks, and we've got the guy who likes into photography.
It's been years. It's been years since I've heard that in my
Yeah,
head. Oh, I've discovered a new recipe.
yes.
Oh,
And then you've got the like the big sort of macho I lift guy. You've got the protagonist who isn't lifting like, a sword like 5 times his own like body weight in one hand. It was very different from other Final Fantasy VII games I saw, and I loved it. Wanted to see how they would do this exploration of just like men like hanging out, and like I wanted it to be a good non-toxic one. Um, And yeah, it kind of was. I mean, it showed you these guys with different things. It showed you the like normal, healthy, like male relationships between these guys. And I think that's worth noting. That they departed massively from the normal thing of like, we'll have the gambling character, we'll have the female character who's like pretty young, we'll have the female character who's very. Wait, are you just describing the horror manga like in a game again? It's like, no,
how dare
but
you?
they
Are you
did do
referencing
that.
Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy's gone past. How very dare you? How very dare you?
If you look at Final Fantasy 8 and 7,
I don't give a shit about 8. 8's the one Tom's likes. I don't like that
I'm
game.
just saying that a lot of the Final Fantasy games did have like what
You
do
come from
call
Final
them?
Fantasy 7, you best have that knife in your hand.
They had character archetypes which were very much prevalent in that other games, especially the earlier ones, and they really departed from it in 15, and they made this game which was wonderful, and I think it should be recognized for trying to show like a really positive exploration of male social interactions, as opposed to whoa, whoa, let's fist pump over killing all these people.
I mean, they do fist bump and kill a lot of
Yeah,
people,
a lot of demons.
but in non-toxic ways. Oh yeah, and all the soldiers. Don't think I haven't forgotten about that.
The soldiers, which were animated demons.
My
Corpses.
I mean, I have many
Yeah.
The movie was another one that you skipped over when you were
Yeah.
talking about things that you need to see for the story to make complete sense. Like the movie's a big one. What chapter was it? Chapter 12? The worst part of any Final Fantasy I've ever played in my entire life, and I've played Final Fantasy 13. Like
Yeah.
that one chapter where you don't have any weapons and you have to use your magic powers, and it takes
Oh, the
like
ring.
3
Yeah.
fucking hours walking
Yeah.
around corridors.
I hated hiding from the possessed dudes. Yeah.
Like, it's a fantastic game. It was my game of the year in 2016. Like, you can go and check it. That's on the internet. Like, all my decisions about video games are on the internet. But
Yeah.
hey, like, I loved it. Like, I loved the four main characters and their friendship. Florence had me fucking weeping when the game was
Oh,
finished. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
It
like,
starts and ends with Florence and the Machine, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the picture and the fucking, the camp talk and
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know if necessarily it was a bad ending. Like it was a hopeful ending because it was like, hey, we saved the world. Like,
Yeah. Oh, it was Ignis, the guy who's the cook, wasn't he? It's like what
yeah.
happens to him during the game, and it's like, oh,
Oh shit.
oh.
Oh shit. Like it did devolve into a bit of a more stereotypical Final Fantasy story in the last sort of third of the game, but
Mhm,
they end it with the first 2/3 of the game.
mhm. Yeah. Hey, let's go. Let's go here. Why? Chocobos. Okay, partner. Like chocobos. Okay, let's go visit the chocobos then.
Like the one moment between those two characters I'll always remember the most is the one where they were sitting on the hotel roof. That's the one
Yes.
I'll remember the most.
Yeah. I also remember the king getting like a certain like talk about like how to treat this dude, like this dude's little sister. I was like,
Yes.
relax, be cool.
But anyway, what are we doing with it? Wait, did you want to get it cut or not?
I was kind of
I mean, I know you
accepting
don't, but
I was kind of accepting for it to be cut until we started talking about it. So I'll offer you a counter offer.
oh Jesus, this isn't going to be
I
like your bullshit. You're not going to be like, oh, counter offer you God of War, and I'll be like, well, fucking Jesus,
Hear me
because
out.
you've done this before.
As my next pick, I will choose one of my own games,
Interesting.
which is Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor.
I accept.
Yeah. Um, I just mentioned briefly Middle Earth: Shadow
No,
of
talk
Mordor.
about it, sure.
Yeah. Great game. A wonderful use of the license. But it was mostly the innovation in the gameplay. It's like I've never really played an Assassin's Creed game. But you basically do just go around assassinating orcs in such some wonderful choreographed combat. Disappearing using these race abilities, in branding orcs, getting them. It was wonderful concept and stuff. Towers were definitely an issue in it. Storyline, storyline maybe not as strong
No, definitely not.
as other things on this, which is why I prefer to see this cut before other games. But the Nemesis system, the idea of a learning system, which like gameplay differently was adapted to you, but also did it thematically and like made you think that this was a living, breathing world. That was an amazing decision, and it really made the game come alive. Like seem like you have had an impact in it. Um, I so loved playing it, and I was so gutted when I decided to vote with my wallet and not buy the second game.
You didn't.
Although I do.
I'm not here to rehash what I thought of the second game.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was such an amazing game that I thought it deserved recognition. But it is a game that I don't think deserves to be in the top 10. And if I have to like throw it under a bus to make sure that certain other games maybe make it onto that list because of what they tried to do was more inspirational than the innovation that was present in Shadow of War. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Mordor.
Shadow of Mordor, sorry.
That's fine. I get them mixed up all the time. I just started calling them the good one and then loot box one.
Yeah.
The only problem is, like, that just for people keeping track on Friendly Debates, that's literally never happened before. This is the thing about this. We always discover brand new strategies. The very first thing I did in episode 1 of Friendly Debates was picked one of my own things to cut and then got it cut. Like, we've never done a, instead of this, how about I make a pick and cut one of my own things?
I've counter-picked like for one of yours before. But...
Yeah, like we've done that before. Like that was, you gave me an impossible choice once.
Yeah.
So I'm always fucking wary of when you say shit like that. So I guess that was your pick.
Yeah.
Which means it goes back to me, and I'm just like, well, shit. What the fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't want to do. Okay. I need to do that thing. I've done it before when we've had proper friendly debates, because we do the jokey ones sometimes where I don't give a shit what goes on the list. I need to raise my own bar and be like, okay, I'm raising my bar. I can't have Final Fantasy 15. That would be mean. Oh, bar has been raised. Keith, I'm gonna go after one of my own games because I don't know if this is something to do with the sequel being really good but also disappointing me, and it like back filtering through to like the original game, like in my opinion of it. But I'm gonna say go for Red Dead Redemption. And everyone hates me now because Red Dead Redemption is considered one of the greatest games of all time. I'm pretty sure when we did our 7 Fave Games podcast a few years ago, it was one of my honorable mentions. But like, it has to be noted for everything it did for open world games. Because again, this game came out in 2010. Like, when open world games weren't really massively a thing yet. And it just came along and it was like, here is this Wild West game. Okay, I'm on board. I love the Wild West. Like, that is just this huge open world that you are going to love to live in. And at the time, that was fucking mind-blowing. Like, now that's like a dime a dozen. Now it's like, you've got the opposite problem of being like, well, shit, that's what all these games say. And like, loads of them are filled with pointless nonsense. Red Dead Redemption, not filled with pointless nonsense. Not at all. Like, there are so many awesome, beautiful moments in this game that are just, they're like, you're talking about, like, when you were talking about Battle Chasers, and you were saying, like, every time I look at this, I hear the music. And I was like, I don't get that because I can't remember what the music in Battle Chasers sound like. I can only remember a little bit about Battle Chasers. Whereas, like, I look at Red Dead Redemption 10 years later, and apart from it being the game that murdered Alan Wake, like, I remember so much.
Yeah.
I remember, so maybe that's part of the reason why I'm okay with this getting cut. I remember so much about this game. Like, the moment where you're having the shootout going down the river, and then you get off the boat, you get on the horse, and you're just riding. And it's that song, Mexico, by, I want to say Jose Gonzalez, but I'm not 100% sure. And you're just riding as the sun sets on this beautiful at the time, like, video game. It was just a perfect moment. Like, there are very few like perfect moments in games, and that was one of them. It had janky controls, but all open. Well, a lot of games had janky controls back in 2010. Like, I'm looking at another 2010 game that like was amazing, but the controls were a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it being cut off of this list for sure. Like, but it is probably a game that caused a lot of the games on this list to exist in the form that they do.
Right.
So while it's not one of my top 10 favorite games of the decade, well, it is because it was on my list. It Again, it's like what I go back to. We're not talking about the most influential games or the best games. We're just talking about our favorites, and we're democratizing it.
Hmm.
So I'm happy to lose Red Dead Redemption 2. And you've never played it, right?
I've never played it.
Cool. I won't ask for your thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption. Stop saying 2. 2 wouldn't even make it into my top 50. Cool.
Right.
12
Right.
games remain.
12 games remaining. So, Red Dead Redemption was one of the ones I was gonna set my sights on to try and cut off this list. So now I'm having to think again.
I told you, some tough choices
Yeah.
lie in front of
Yeah.
us.
I mean, I'm looking at some games on here which are like games of the year, 2 years running. A lot of people.
I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 3 like literal outright game of the years on my list.
Hmm.
Everything that's left,
Yeah.
everything that's left on this list, apart from Bloodborne because I didn't play it the year it came out,
Hmm.
everything that's left on this list was at least in the top 10 of the game of the year list for me. Just to put it into context, how difficult the decision making is going forward. Like,
Yeah.
all of these games are top 10 games.
I'm just wondering if they're like, the little, you're trying to give me little hints there because I could see a cursor moving back up. And
I tried to cut one of them, Keith.
yeah.
I tried to cut one of them myself.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
I'm laughing because the cursor was on The Last of Us, and I was like, if you even go there right now.
Yeah.
There's a cursor on Doom, and I can't get rid of it.
It's as if it knew what was going to happen. I know what you mean, but I want to go back to Stardew Valley. I know this is going to start a reciprocal thing here.
It's like that meme of Wii Tennis, where they're get
Yeah.
close to the net, and it's like they're hitting it backwards and forwards. I mean, do you have anything to add?
The Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
I've seen Stardew Valley. I know it's incredibly addictive to you, but I'll
To
counterpoint
me, I
to this.
mean, well, 10 million
A
people.
lot of a lot of people may be addicted to it. A lot of people may be addicted to Minecraft. A lot of people may be addicted to Civ games, and playing them like over and over. And they may be really good games.
10 out of 10
But
words about games. Just saying.
yeah,
Back when we did that. That wasn't a joke. It actually happened.
yeah. But we are talking about the best games of the decade on our own field.
Yeah, we kind of had to just go with our gut, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't put up a fight. If
This time. Mhm.
no, there's no this time about it. But there's 2 games on here with stars next to them.
Yeah.
Like, I'll trade you. Like, Stardew for Final Fantasy.
And I believe that'll put us into the top 10, won't it?
It will also put us into the top 10.
Yeah, okay, I'm happy with
Yeah, me too. There's a game on here I am amazed is in the top 10.
that.
Like, genuinely amazed.
If it's the one I think of, I'm going to make an impassioned argument for it to actually be in the top 10. See,
Stop it. When you came up with the Chromebook method of doing this list, I forgot about my shitty internet connection. Okay, I'm going to switch the screen over because we have now entered the top 10 phase. So on the right hand side, you can see the update. I don't know why I'm gesturing at it. Keith can see me gesturing at it. You can't see
yeah,
me. I'm just gesturing at it. On the right hand side of the screen, you can see the list. We've cut it down to 10 games. We have lost Battle Chasers Night War, Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy 15, Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, Overwatch, Portal 2, Red Dead Redemption, and Stardew Valley. Sorry, I don't know why. I got really emotional for a second there. That
yeah,
leaves us with Bloodborne, Doom 2016, God of War, Halo Reach, The Last of Us, Mass Effect 2, Monster Prom, Nier Automata, Titanfall 2, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. What we're going to do now is we're going to make a top 10. So we're going to start filling in the sheet or the page because it's the same document. We're going to start filling
yeah,
in the page on the left. And how we're going to do this is we're going to start from 10. Instead of necessarily arguing with each other, what we're going to do is there's no turns or anything anymore. Someone is going to pitch a game to go in at number 10. The other person can either agree or they can disagree. If they disagree, they have to nominate an alternative. It can't just be, no, I don't think that goes there. It has to be,
yeah.
no, I don't think that goes there because this goes there. And then we debate and we figure out who's right. And then we put that game at 10. We go all the way up until we're at number 1. And that's how we talk about all the other games that we didn't talk about because we knew that like they were going to be in the top 10. Like that's
Yeah.
just that is the thing. That's just how it works. So I get to move this up and down now.
Yeah.
On here. Can I make a pitch for number 10?
Yeah, it's your turn, yeah.
I mean, we're not taking turns.
Yeah, no, but you usually go for the first pitch on number 1.
That's true. I mean, Monster Prom, right? Monster
I'm
Prom.
going to open my mouth, and these. That was going to be my rebuttal to anything that cut it off the list. I mean, I don't disagree. But I just want to say to all the people out there who are like, why on earth is there like a sudden dating game on this? Monster Prom is unlike any attempt at a dating sim I have ever seen before. I mean, you've got like Doki Doki Literature Club, and Hattori Boyfriend, which are kind of out there on the weird scale.
Hatful
But
Boyfriend goes places.
Yeah.
For sure.
But this game is it can be surreal, it can be dark, but it is so amazingly beautiful, and not just its art styling, but its writing. It is a game that will absolutely break you, but with humor. It will make you crawl across the floor laughing, trying to get an image out of your head that has been painted with words.
That happened. That all
Yeah.
happened live on stream.
Yeah, yeah, I broke Amy by just responding to an impromptu extra dimensional quiz show by opening my mouth. Door descends and a swarm of bees appears.
Yeah.
That was it. That's
You broke-
everything that happened.
You broke the universe. Like, there was also the sex party where all the objects got animated at the party.
Oh
And started
no!
having
Don't
sex
use
with
that
each other.
experimental sex laser.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't want to know how a backpack and a drinking phone would have sex.
Like Keith always manages to find the funniest, the things that will break me emotionally in half. Keith always manages to find those things, and the reason we're talking about a game like this is because one of its unique features is it has competitive multiplayer. It's a dating sim where you play it multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's set in a monster high school. All the characters are insane, and I love it. Like, there's 6, like, in the base game, because you haven't played the DLC yet.
Yeah.
In the base game, there's, like, 6 love interests, and it's the only time. It's the only game where there's multiple characters. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, actually, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it's the only game where there are multiple characters in the fucking in the game, like multiple protagonists, where I can't choose between any of them. Like, I can't say, oh, this character's the best, obviously, or oh, this character's not as good as the other ones. No, all six of them equal
Yeah.
footing. And every time I start thinking once inching ahead of the rest, another one will do something completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or
It's like,
I'll end up doing this. Remember when I got that entire story, like the
yeah.
entire fucking side story about Scott and the community of furries,
Very
and it
difficult to
was
know what it
it was amazing.
is. Yeah.
You guys were
The-
off doing your monster prom dating shit, and I was just off in the corner having my own little adventure.
Yeah, you're off in the woods with Scott, who'd be named king of a furry community.
King of a furry community, and I was his queen, and you know what? I was fine with that. That I'm talking myself into pushing it higher up the list.
Just look at the rest of the list.
I know, but still, like, this is one of the best multiplayer games I have ever played. Don't mistake my immediately calling it to put it on number 10 on this list for like me like dissing the game in any way. This is one
Yeah.
of the best games I've ever played.
It is, and it can. I mean, they've got a sequel coming out, but they're continually improving the base game. They've made an editor so you can make up your own scenarios inside the game. It is a wonderful indie group.
Can you think of anything else that should go at number 10?
I mean, I haven't played a couple of these games. I've got a feeling a couple of people would murder me if I suggested The Last of Us,
Yes.
and you may kill me with your screwdriver if I suggested, Nier Automata. But so yeah, I'm happy with
Okay,
this to go
cool.
at 10.
But as I'm updating the document and putting it in, I have a question. Next week, should we do a Monster Prom stream? Because I kind of really want to play the game now.
I'll have to double check to see what I'm available.
We should definitely do a Monster Prom stream.
Yeah.
We should definitely do multiple Monster Prom streams. Okay, so that's off the list.
Yeah,
Kind of sad to see it go.
yeah. It is
I'm
such
really
it's
glad I
such a
stopped
wonderful
myself.
joy.
I'm
Yeah.
really glad I stopped myself picking it now.
Yeah.
Earlier. That has also never happened in friendly debates before.
Yeah. So, I have a pitch for number 9,
Hit me.
and let's see if we go there.
Hit me.
2 years before Spec Ops: The Line came out,
Spec Ops The Line was such a good fucking game.
we got a video game set in a sci-fi shooter genre, which basically tells the story like you don't always win. It's not always win. You can do everything right. You can still lose. It was by nowhere the means like a better story than like Spec Ops: Line for that. But I think it was a really interesting take on it, and it was an amazing video game. It's obviously Halo Reach that I'm going on about here.
I thought you were talking about something else, and I was like, prepare to die in ritual combat. You just
no.
But you just described 2 games that were on this list. And I was
Almost
like,
as if I did it deliberately. But yeah, no.
oh my god, he's going there.
No, I'm going about Halo Reach, a game which I adore, a game which I have played on Legendary by myself and won it on several times, which is incredibly unusual for me. It was a wonderful game, and I loved it for its take on the whole thing. It's not one person against everything, and that you always win. It's like, yeah, that's great for the mainline games, but they made a game of,
Death.
this is war. This is actually what happened. And yeah, it's still Halo and it's grandiose, and it's like like you get like how many like people you can take down before you go. But
Yeah, the ending is pretty fun. But it's like an Easter egg, right? As opposed to
Yeah.
like the actual ending of the game. The ending of the game is before the credits.
yeah, but yeah, it's a great game. We had fun in Firefight.
We're gonna have more fun in Firefight because they re-released it on the
Yeah.
Master Chief Collection.
Indeed, they did.
Keith got smushed by drop pods twice on the same map. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took a
But
video of it. I wonder if I still got that video.
we could always try and reenact it. But yeah, it's a great game. It's up there in like the Halo franchise. I think we did a Halo list at one point, and it was quite up there as like the Halo
No,
games.
I think we planned it. We planned it. It was like we did the first one was Overwatch, the second one was Overwatch characters, the second one was BioWare games, and then it was always like from then on, I'm pretty sure it was always like pitched where it was like, what should we do? Well, what about Halo games? Yeah, we'll do something else.
Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
definitely do Halo games.
Yeah.
Even though I think we just spoiled the winner by doing this list. Although actually saying that most of the Halo games came out before this decade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great game. But looking at some of the other games on the list, I think maybe it could be number 9, not higher.
I agree, 100%. With everything you said, it's amazing game. The single player campaign is amazing. The multiplayer was a lot of fun. It was one of the very few games I played where I didn't mind getting the achievements
Yeah.
because we made it a competition where it was like we were doing all the achievements in multiplayer, and we made it. We made it a competition of like our gamer score was the
Yeah.
the like the yardstick. Because I remember we were playing a match. We were playing a match once. It's just a tangent about multiplayer on Halo Reach now. We were playing a match once where Russ did a grenade stick. I think it was like there was a special grenade stick type thing you could do to get an achievement for like 50 points or something, and
Yeah.
that put him over the top. So he just took over me after like months of me being on the lead, and he went, I've done this. Like, I'm in the lead. I've just done a thing. And I remember in that moment of playing that match, and I don't know why I remember this. I'll never forget it. He just was like, oh, I'm in the lead now. Like, yes, I'm winning. And I just went, oh, okay. And then I did the Jeep, as a Jeep was coming towards me, and I just did the armor lock on it and just blew it up, which was also an achievement that I'd not gotten. And I blew it up, and yeah, I'm in the lead again. Russ was very competitive
Indeed.
about a lot of
Dude.
things. Okay, so we've got 8 games left. Once we pick the next one, we'll quickly flick over so everybody can see what's what, visualize it, and we'll go through everything. I legit, for like a good minute there, thought you were talking about Mass Effect 2. I was like, what's he doing? What's he doing? This is top 5 at least. Number 8. Number 8. Number 8. Is that a Simpsons joke? The B sharps, where he's like, Barbershop is dead. And he plays that song. It's like, number 8? Number 8? I'm going to see if I can find that after this.
That was a Beto joke about Yoko Ono.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was number 8. I watched the early seasons of The Simpsons so much I have that shit internalized. I swear.
We still need to get to number 8.
We do. Do you have any ideas?
Very well. If you're struggling,
We're
let's
not
have
taking
a
it. I literally explained the rules 10 minutes ago and said we're not
It-
taking it
it-
in turns.
It just seemed like you may be having difficulty choosing a specific one.
I've got 2 ideas.
Okay.
If you would like to hear both of them.
If you want to give me both of them, we'll have a bit of a chat, a little back and forth.
This doesn't necessarily mean I'm pitching for 8 and 7.
Yeah.
This just means where I'm at right now. Because
Yeah.
I almost argued Monster Prom to go above Halo Reach by myself without your input in any way, shape, or form. So I can top myself up really easily on games. I'm looking at Nier Automata
hmm
and Doom 2016.
Yeah. See, one of these games I've played, one of these games I haven't played. I know you're a massive fan of Nier Automata,
Yeah,
which
like
is a game which didn't hit it off with a lot of people because they didn't really understand about the you replay the game.
sort
Yeah.
of, sort of.
Yeah,
I mean, this
there is
game
that.
was made by a man who comes out to press events and public events with a giant moon head on. Like, he's eccentric.
Yeah,
He's also a
he's rich,
genius.
so he's rich. We can call him eccentric.
Yeah, but he's also a
Um,
genius.
yeah. Um, it's got a cult following. Has Nier Automata.
Does it
Um,
ever?
it has some wonderful bits of humor in it. Um, I was going to say something there, which I won't. The game is the sequel, which quite a few of these games are.
It is, but it's a
To a
sequel made
franchise.
by it's an entirely different kind of game
Yeah,
from what came before it, made by an
yeah,
entirely different studio.
yeah. It's one of those sequels.
It's made by Platinum.
Like yeah, yeah. It's like the people who come in and did who was it? Was it Obsidian who used to come in and redo BioWare games? Um, it's a good. By all accounts, it's a good game. And the more you know about it going in, the better I feel that you actually get from the game because
I feel like you just need to know that one thing.
yeah, now you have to keep playing the game or go over and over again, and it gives you it gives you more.
There's 26 endings, one for each letter of the alphabet, but 8 are the main endings. When they say endings, I mean it's like you see the ending, and then you see the ending from a different perspective, and then
Yeah,
the third time, because when it's like you have to replay the game, it's like not really. The second
yeah,
time is like half and half because you're doing the same events from a different perspective, except this character wasn't around for everything that happened in the first time. So sometimes you go off and you do different stuff. Like it starts a completely different way. And
yeah,
then the third, fourth, and fifth time are just different. Like they're just not the same game, like at all.
yeah,
Um, it has one of the best. It has one of the best endings in a game. Like if we were doing top 10 game endings, I'd be passionately talking about Nier Automata.
yeah.
Um,
That's something we should put on the list.
that is something we should put on the list. I'll put Halo 3 on there just so not Halo 3. I'll put Mass Effect 3 on there
Hello.
just so
Oh
just so I
God.
can talk about that. Um, like I did with May and our Overwatch characters. The like it's a story that could only be told in video games and in maybe in House of Leaves because of the way like it's put together. Like you wouldn't sit down and watch a movie 5 times, and
Yeah,
even if you did, and like it changes so much between each viewing. It's like that's not
yeah.
possible in a movie or a TV show
Mhm.
or a comic book or a book, except House of Leaves. You should read House of Leaves. It's really good. It was really weird. Um,
I think it maybe been done in a TV show before, where you see like same event from 5 to 9. I'm thinking something a bit like Sunday from Atlantis.
yeah, maybe, but again, it's not really.
It's not
That's not
easy
really what
to.
happens.
Yeah,
Like in the game itself. Like, yeah, I can't. I don't want to spoil it because if I'm convincing you to play it, which I hopefully am, you should definitely go out and do that. Even though that's like a 2.5-year-old game at this point, but I'm kind of talking myself into putting it above Doom. Like at
yeah,
this point, like it's the combat is incredible. It's a platinum game, of course. It's like 6 different, like apart from being like 5 different storylines each time you play it, it's also like fucking 5 different games. Like it's primarily a third person like hack and slash action game, but there's
yeah,
also shoot 'em up sections, and there's also fucking bullet time sections, and there's also fucking like there's moments where it goes into 2D and you're fighting in like 2D, and it's a bit like a 2D platformer, but with swords and robots and existential crises and fucking heartbreak. Like, jeez. There's things I want to say, but it's like it's spoilers. I think you should all go out and experience how good this game is. On the flip side of that, the other game I was thinking of, which is Doom 2016, is an impeccable first person shooter. And I was just talking to you just before we started recording about a
yeah.
speedrun I watched of it from GDQ a couple of weeks ago. Like,
This is the this is the thing about Doom. Just to put it in your mind for a second, just like visually incredible, audibly excels beyond any right. A game like Doom should not have such an amazing soundtrack to it,
Yeah.
but it does. Um, then you get this like, oh, what's the story like?
It's actually got a lot of lore. It's a really
It,
deep lore.
it does, and this is the thing. But you don't. It's not that you have to go looking for it. You have to load up a computer and go look for it on special cards that you've unlocked playing the game, Destiny. Um, it is sort of like you can pay attention and you get the lore, or you can just ignore it and just run mad with the revelry of it,
Yeah.
which it just kind of encourage you to do. And I think Doom is an amazing game, and I know you said you didn't want to do this, but I would put it above Nier Automata, um, just for the like excellence across the board that they managed to succeed with that game. I don't know if they've got lightning in the bottle of that game because it is just such an amazing thing of just breaking convention. It's like, oh yeah, you're not gonna be standing behind cover. No, this isn't Call of Duty. This isn't this game. This game basically wants you to like run forward to get energized by playing the game.
Push forward combat.
Yeah, but they did this in so many ways with the gameplay mechanics, with the visuals, with the sound. I mean, I've mentioned before that if I need to get the work quicker, I just stick on BFG Division and I get the work quicker than I normally would because it's that energetic. Um, I've never played a Nier Automata.
You
I know
should.
about it. I've heard a lot about it. Um, I do kind of think that Doom on the gut level does come a little above it. Just because you pick up that game in the first few minutes, it
I mean,
teaches you what the game is going to be.
I was talking
And
before when we were talking about Red Dead Redemption. Sorry to interrupt you. This is going to support your point. I was talking
yeah,
before about perfect moments in games.
yeah,
The first 10 minutes of Doom 2016
mhm,
is one of those perfect moments. Everything about
yeah.
it is perfect for like setting you up to just fucking go.
It gives you everything you need
What was the
to
quote?
understand what the game.
I rewatched the No Clip documentary, and there's the quote by
Uh,
Hugo Martin where he's talking about it, where it's just like, where it's like, oh, you're expecting like the game to be like, oh,
yeah,
maybe it's demon, maybe it's a cult,
maybe
and maybe there's demons. No, how about we just scream it from a fucking megaphone, like
yeah,
right at
like
the beginning?
demonic invasion
Yeah,
in acceptable levels. Boom. It's like there's an acceptable
there's an
level of
acceptable
demonic
level of demonic
invasion.
invasion. But yeah,
Maybe
it's
hey, they've
just
got teeth.
like
Maybe they're vampires.
that interview is incredible. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like where it's just like the thing they're doing where it's at the beginning, where it's just like once you're at the elevator and you cock the shotgun, the
yeah.
cocking the shotgun is just like is them. And this is again a quote from Hugo Martin where it's just like this is just telling the player, "You ready to go? Because we're going right now. Like here's your ticket."
Here's your shotgun. Let's go have fun. Yeah, it is.
No clip
It,
documentary on Doom if you haven't seen it, by the way. 10 out of 10, amazing.
it just that game just sets you up straight from the get go of what that game is going to be, and it doesn't lead you by the nose. It just goes, come on, it's just there behind you, at all like beside you all the way, like screaming, "This is fun! This is awesome! Come on, let's do this!" Um, and everything I've heard about like Nier Automata and stuff about the game and like how wonderful it is and everything. Um,
It's a work
and
of
also
art.
having conversations with people who have not heard anything apart of this game is amazing, and who've only played the game once, and I kind of like, yeah, it was all
Oh
right.
yeah,
It was like
if you
cool.
finish the game and never go back, it's like I can understand why you would be like, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
Because yeah, you know
I-
what, it's not bad.
yeah. I know of at least two people who did not know that the New Game Plus wasn't like say Batman Arkham New Game Plus.
Like any other New Game Plus ever in existence.
Yeah,
Like yeah, no, totally. Like yeah, the end is not the end,
yeah,
but at the same, yeah, it's transcendent. But you only get that transcendent experience if you hit New Game Plus, because the
yeah,
second that starts, you know something's different because you're
yeah.
doing something completely different.
Unfortunately, New Game Plus for so like I don't normally play New Game Plus. I don't think
The
I've
two.
ever actually done it. And it's like, do I really want to go back and redo everything just to like get like
This
something?
This ain't no Resident Evil 2 Remake B scenario where a couple bits are in different places.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Like Resident Evil, yeah, I played a scenario for Claire, and B scenario for the Chris, not Chris, oh God, Leon, and that was it. That I was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually okay just playing through it once, like both sides of the story.
Yeah, I mean, I only went and got the achievements because I had fun playing the game.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it wasn't like Resident Evil 2 from '97, where I
yeah,
was like, oh, I can see how this is the other side of the story.
yeah,
Like, there's a couple of logical leaps. You know,
yeah.
it was a game on a CD-ROM for God's sake, but like, yeah, it was like that was something that did disappoint me in Resident Evil 2. I'm gonna acquiesce because this is a democratic list. I didn't mention that the soundtrack is a fucking banger, though. It's
For Nier
almost as
Automata.
good. It's almost as good as Doom. Am I putting Doom at number 7?
Yeah,
Because I'm looking at the rest of the list and being like, yeah. Because the reason I'm acquiescing is I might be able to argue Nier above Doom, but then I
yeah,
wouldn't be able to argue it any further up the list, and
no,
I'm okay with that, given that I'm
yeah,
responsible for like stuff on this list as well. Um. Okay, so let me just switch everything over while Keith ponders the list, and let's break it down for you. On the left, you can see what we've got so far of the top 10 games of the decade. At number 10, we've got Monster Prom, which is amazing. At number 9, we've got Halo Reach. At number 8, we've got Nier Automata. And at number 7, we've got Doom 2016. You can see on the right the games that we have left. I don't have lines through them. Bloodborne, God of War, The Last of Us, Mass Effect 2, Titanfall 2, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That is a list.
yeah,
On that side of the screen, that is a fucking list.
yeah,
And you think about all the people who are mad that we didn't put Breath of the Wild or Skyrim or something
yeah,
on this list, and it's like, that's still a fucking list.
yeah. I have a suggestion for number 6,
Hit me.
Bloodborne.
Okay, talk for a bit while I think.
So I don't have as much experience with Bloodborne as you do. I have heard a bit of it. I've from people YouTubers I watch, not to play video games, but to do artwork for different like games and stuff. So I know stuff about Vic Amelia, is it?
Vicar Amelia.
Yeah, and like some of the other like bosses and stuff. So, and I know a bit about lore because we've discussed it. Check out our list. Bizarre healing items. Yeah, so I know a bit
Oh,
about the game and the game's lore.
we played the card game like a few weeks
Indeed, I was
ago.
going to mention this. Yeah, you bought the card game. And yeah, Russell, totally competitive.
You can't trust Russell.
No, makes for a good game though.
Does it a
Um,
fun game?
so Bloodborne has a background that I would love to read. It's just it's gothic, it's noir, it's monster horror and stuff.
I mean, I've
I
always
read
said
The Witcher.
I've,
Yeah,
I've always said that you would love Bloodborne if it had difficulty options.
yeah. I mean, I love The Witcher, so the like the books and stuff, and they got kind of dark. Bloodborne seems a bit darker, but also with Eldritch Horror, which is something else I've read a lot of because someone sitting opposite me on a webcam once wanted to do a horror film and
Which
asked for my help.
I still want to do that horror film. I think
Yeah,
I've given up on that idea.
yeah,
Need to
but
talk
yeah,
to Patrick about that.
yeah. So Eldritch Horror, plus Gothic Horror, it's a cool premise. It's a game style that I know I can't really get into. Um, the most Dark Souls game that I appear to be able to play is Jedi Fallen Order, which is I believe they call it a Souls Light.
It's. I mean, I say this in every fucking video these days. I mean, Souls like isn't really a genre, and Jedi isn't really a Souls like. It's inspired by the gameplay mechanics
Yeah,
of Dark Souls
of a
for
couple
sure.
of things. Tomb Raider as well.
Tomb Raider, Uncharted, Metroid, Zelda.
Yeah, yeah. It takes influences from a few different things. But yeah, Bloodborne, like, I'm sure it would be like a game if I actually had the manual dexterity to play a game like that well, I would probably love that game. Um, but I'm looking at the games that are on this list that we've got left. Now, there are a couple of games on here which I haven't played. Bloodborne is one of them. God of War is one of them, and The Last of Us is one of them.
You
Now,
know,
there's
I'm
something
starting to see
I
why.
know about these remaining games. I'm looking at them and I'm judging about how much hype people have got, especially a certain person has for these different games, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, Bloodborne maybe come in sixth here.
I'm start. You know, you talk about how you don't turn your PlayStation on.
Yeah,
Maybe you should try playing some PlayStation games. Just thought. Like the three games that you've just talked about. Like, Bloodborne was the beginning of something. So in 2015, when it came out,
yeah,
before that, we did a podcast. We were doing a podcast even as early as then. And before that, we talked about games all the time. And one of the things we talked about pre Bloodborne, and probably a bit after it as well, like Xbox actually had better exclusives than PS4. There was a
yeah,
time in this generation's history where that was true. Bloodborne was, and we didn't know it at the time, of course, but
yeah,
Bloodborne was the start of just a series of exclusive games to PlayStation 4 that were just mind-blowingly high quality. We didn't know it at the time because obviously, like, you can't figure a series when the first things come out. But
yeah,
like before that, it was all Infamous and Killzone and
yeah.
The Order 1886. Whereas
Oh
like
God,
Xbox had like not necessarily generation defining exclusives, but they had stuff like Sunset Overdrive,
yeah,
really fun games. Um, they also had Rise Son of Rome. I'm not going to paint the entire history as rosy. That game wasn't great, but yeah, like Bloodborne, it was a game I didn't play when it first came out because I wasn't into Souls-like games.
yeah,
Like I talked about this when we did Fantasy Gaming League and when we were talking about Neo 2. Like I feel like there's always a game in that sort of genre. It's not a genre, but I'm going to say genre because it's the easiest word to use. That unlocks the entire like genre for you.
hmm,
And Neo was that game. And once I played Neo and I understood what this whole like gameplay type was about, it's like I went back to Bloodborne and I was like, this game is fucking amazing. Like whereas before I think I didn't even do one boss. Like when I played it the first time I played it. So like it it's such a fucking good game. Um but it is going at number 6. It
yeah.
is.
Anything on this list at this moment is a fucking good game.
It is it's From Software's best game as far as I'm concerned. Like it makes changes to Dark Souls that I really appreciated and loved. So we're into the top 5 territory.
Yeah,
This is probably where I should have done the recap, but oh well.
yeah,
Normally we only do top 5 lists. It's only when we have
indeed.
topics like this where it's like there's no way we're going to crush this down to 5. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I'm going to make a page for number 5, which is Titanfall 2. Out of the games that we've got left, I've said it before on podcasts, to your face, to other people's faces, to anyone who will listen, that Titanfall 2 is the best first-person shooter of the entire generation. Like,
It is the best for first person shooter of the generation. See, Titanfall 2 is an amazing game, and for more than one reason. Um, it took the multiplayer combat of the original Titanfall, which was amazing, perfected it.
Bridge. Sorry.
It is, like cynically here, saying one of the only like first-person shooters that I can outperform Amy on, and
Weirdly,
even then, not 100%. Yeah.
that list is so weird. It's like because you were just talking about manual dexterity when you were talking about Bloodborne,
Yeah.
and then it's like Okay, what first person shooters is Keith better than Amy at? Titanfall 2 and Apex Legends. Aren't those two of like the fastest paced multiplayer first person shooters? Yes, yes they are, but Keith is one of the best Titanfall 2 players in the world.
No,
So
I have played more of it than Amy has. It is an amazing game. I have a different playstyle to Amy as well,
it's true.
which
That's
involves me
true.
getting inside my Titan and then wrecking everybody for miles.
That is also true.
But
I've seen it.
it is a game of two halves. It's Titanfall 2. The first half is obviously what we've just mentioned, the multiplayer, which is a phenomenal experience, which, to my mind, so far outcompetes things like the Call of Duties and so, Modern War and the Call of Duties and Battlefronts of the day.
Battlefronts,
Um,
Battlefields.
yeah,
The only
it is.
game, the only game I would potentially put it on a par with is Modern Warfare, the original, not the 2019 remake. And then
Yeah,
I think, well, hang on, the studio Respawn Entertainment was formed from the studio that made that game, so it's like, yeah, it
yeah.
makes sense.
So on its like just its like multiplayer combat alone, should put it really high up on the list of games of the year, and has done so apparently on many lists. Um, then we turn over to the other half of it, the half that was so weak on its predecessor, the campaign.
I mean, it was non-existent. I'm throwing it out there. I don't know whether it's
Yeah,
controversial or not. There was no campaign
yeah,
multiplayer. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
yeah. Um, that campaign was amazing.
The campaign was awesome.
That campaign hands down beats several Halo campaigns.
I mean, it's one of the things that makes it the best first-person shooter of a generation, and
Yeah,
its campaign is one of the best first-person shooter campaigns.
yeah.
Full stop.
It's from the tutorial where you're basically a bog standard rifleman, and you're getting taught how to be maybe for an advancement in the future, in like a training mode, which is literally an AI training mode, to the point where you go on your like your mission and everything, and then you become like an actual proper
Pilot.
pilot.
Directive
That's
1.
great.
Protect the pilot.
Yeah, to uphold the mission.
Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. It does. It does some amazing things. It's like how often in a video game have we failed? It's like the game fails to make you feel for a character in the game who's a human being. And in Titanfall, they actually make you have feels for your Titan, this big ass robot.
BT.
Yeah, I mean, damn. That's an achievement. And then you look at the sort of things that they did in there, like things like, oh yeah, it's not just we'll just like throw in like the weapons and stuff you meet in multiplayer, and we'll just have you run around killing other
Yeah,
people.
it's not a training
It's
exercise for this type of
no,
multiplayer.
it's basically it's basically a platformer with like first person shooting plus your Titan dropping in at times. You've got to go rescue it at times. Sometimes it comes and helps you. I mean, just think about the war game scenario one way. Like you have to go through that whole level of this factory building battlefields, which are then used, and then you have the fighting that battle. It's an amazing. The campaign is amazing beyond all reach of what it should be, and then you get the stopwatch, which sends you back and forward in true time, and that is just a piece of level design which is amazing. And I don't think many games have bettered that. I'm just thinking about the list that we've got at the moment. Um, it's a hell of a story, and I would like to see Titanfall 2 get higher up.
Get higher, baby. Ah, get higher, baby. Ah,
Yeah, so
get
I'm looking at
higher,
some.
baby.
I'm looking at some other games on this list, and I'm thinking about what we've got there and like what was like what's come out and stuff. And I've not played The Last of Us. I've not played the God of War. You're gonna keep screaming at me about that one forever, I think.
I mean, I wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
If you would just play the damn thing.
Yeah, I don't exactly have the time at the moment, unfortunately, to go back and play stuff.
We make the time for the things that we want to do. I didn't have
Yeah,
the time to play 68 hours of Fire Emblem Three Houses last summer, but I fucking did. Because we make the time
indeed.
for the things that we enjoy.
Yeah. Um, So if I've got if I'm gonna have any sort of real push for like getting Titanfall higher up, I'll probably have to sacrifice the game I put in here.
What, you mean those two games that are in italics? That's weird. Why are they in italics again?
Yeah, yeah, they're in italics because you also chose them. Um,
I've boxed you in.
yeah. So,
Can I give you a hint?
yeah.
Is what I would see as an acceptable trade to
Hmm.
move Titanfall higher up the
Yeah.
list.
Hmm.
I'll do this non-verbally, and we can just pretend that it was your idea the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to actually go for that one by going,
No, it's your
toss a
idea.
coin to your Witcher, oh Valley of Plenty. Oh, I think the soundtrack for that just released today.
It
Or
did.
comes out tomorrow.
The song was released on streaming services.
Yeah.
One
So,
video, one group video I would like to get through without someone singing that fucking song. Most of the time it's me, so I can't really complain. Toss a
yeah.
coin to your Witcher, oh Valley of
So,
Plenty.
The Witcher 3, when it was announced, promised us an insane amount. And I love what it did for the open world. So it's like, oh, you go to a place, you do something, change the world. It will like change how things happen. It's like, so you go in there, you like kill all these dogs which are feasting on the dead from the battlefield, and a lot of ghouls turn up.
Yeah,
Kill the ghouls, something else happens. And it was meant to be this whole like interplay of stuff. I didn't see as much of that as I thought I might do because you don't really go back to places very often. You kind of go to a village, you do everything, and then you leave.
I mean,
It
you
is,
might have.
yeah. Um, it was an amazing exploring that world. It got me really into reading the books, which are great. I'd tried playing Begin the Witcher 2 before, and kind of I got past the prologue and everything, but then I stopped. It was before I really knew what The Witcher was, apart from being really a cult thing. Uh,
It wasn't a huge mega thing until The Witcher 3. I'll grant you that much.
yeah, but yeah, that game is really impressive. I know some people have issues with the writing in it.
It's a masterpiece. It's a
Uh,
masterpiece.
Patrick Rothfuss would disagree with you.
What does he know?
Yeah, not like we ever got that third book.
Yeah,
Uh,
Patrick. Yeah. Yeah. More Witcher games than Patrick Roth's books. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I
um,
mean, I know who he is, but it's like,
yeah. The Name of the Wind stuff. That third book people have been waiting for a very long time.
I mean, Jimmy.
Um, yeah, go for it.
Like, so The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I played The Witcher 2 to completion. Amazing game. I loved it. But again, it was like, I grant you that it was niche. Like, it was 100%. The. My first real experience with The Witcher 3 was at EGX. I didn't play it, but me and Russ went to see a developer talk about the game, where
yeah,
they just talked about the choices and consequences that you were talking about.
yeah,
And it was like they were like, here's the tool we use for decision making. It's like, you accept a quest to kill, and obviously he was a lot more personable and presentable
yeah,
with it, but it was like, here's the thing, you accept a quest to do a thing, and then like you do the thing and this happens, or you don't do the thing and this happens, but here's all of the consequences, like potential consequences, big and small, that come out of that, and it just zooms out, and it's just like,
yeah. Yeah, there was this massive spider web of stuff.
yeah,
And then it's like, oh, and here's the game map. And then it just zooms out from the White Orchard. Like, oh my word.
yeah,
That's
that was.
massive.
This is just the starting it. Oh my god! So like, here's the thing about that game map though. Unlike every other open world game, it feels like, apart from maybe
Yeah.
it's like 4 or 5 in history, like it's huge, it's expansive. There's so much stuff to go and see and do. But like all the stuff that you go and see and do in The Witcher 3 is worth doing. Like
Yeah.
the side quests have the writing quality, have cutscenes and voice acting. Like in any other game, like they would be main quests with that
Yeah.
amount of effort and work put into them, and the amount of storytelling like on display in those side quests. Like the fucking Bloody Baron side quest is
That was the main quest, really.
it was both, because you got the information out of him, then you can just be like, cool, see you later, I'm gonna go and do the main quest, or you can continue his storyline,
Yeah.
and then you just continue his
Oh,
storyline.
the ladies in the woods.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was all side quest stuff. Like mind blowing. Like the side quests were important. The side missions, where it's like in any other game, like a Ubisoft game, it would be like, oh yeah, kill these generic enemies. Cool, you did that. Check the thing off the box. In The Witcher 3, they were monster hunts. Monster hunts are incredible. Like,
yeah,
you have to
they
read
were.
the thing, and it's like, okay, I'm reading the bestiary. Okay, it does these kinds of attacks. Okay, it's weak against this stuff. Okay, cool. And then you get into a fight with it, and it's like, holy shit, this is like amazing. Like, this is legitimately like an amazing fight, and it's optional. Like, this would have been a boss fight in a lesser game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it is a boss fight, but it's completely optional. Like, I don't know how long I played The Witcher 3 for. It's probably on the upper end of games on this that we've talked about on this
Yeah.
list in this video, but breathtaking. It's a masterpiece. I guess sure the writing's not always on point, but I think there's like 200 hours of content in this game. Some of the writing's not going to be on point.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. When you've got the things like you mentioned in The Lady in the Woods and the entire bloody Baron storyline.
Yeah.
Like it hits those highs like like more consistently than it hits lows. And yeah, it's the entire island of Skellige. I love that entire thing. Except the boat driving. Wasn't a fan. But I could put up with it. Yeah, like if this was my list and I was deciding the order, like I'd put it ahead of Titanfall 2. But hey, if you want to put it there instead and move Titanfall 2 further up the list, it's cool by me. It's democracy.
No worthy sacrifice.
That's democracy. What about 4?
I've heard a lot of people rave about The Last of Us.
Careful.
Yeah, but I don't think I've heard you rave about The Last of Us as much as you've raved about God of War.
I mean, that might just be recency bias, because that game came out in 2018 and The Last of Us came out in 2013. When we used to have an intro, like a musical intro of this to all our podcasts, there was always a Last of Us scene
Clip. Yeah.
in all of them. This was probably, and I know Mass Effect 2 had a great story, and I know Halo Reach had a great story. This was probably like the first video game story that wasn't just awesome. Like, so Halo Reach's story was awesome.
Yeah.
The other game I just mentioned. Oh my god.
Mass Effect.
Yes, Mass Effect 2's story was awesome. But with The Last of Us, it was like, it was up on another level. Like, I connected with the characters in a way I never connected with characters in a video game before. Like the main relationship between Joel and Ellie as you go on this journey, was just it never happened before. Like when The Last of Us came out, and like it was like they would talk about like, oh, you spend the entire game, you play as Joel, and you've got Ellie with you all the time, and it was at a time when it was like, wait, an escort quest? Those suck. Like those always suck. It was like how before like Batman Arkham Asylum was a thing. It was like a licensed game. Those are always terrible. But like you do, and you just like, she's there like so much of the way through this game. Like you just connect on like this really deeply personal level. The stories that are told, like the ongoing story is Joel and Ellie trying to get somewhere, and their relationship deepening, like as you do. But like there's sort of like mini vignettes almost, like because you're on this sort of road trip, kind of through this like post-apocalyptic wasteland. So like when you get to one place, there's like a almost a self-contained story. Like it's kind of like how they might, like a TV show might be episodic, but there's like the one thread running all the way through it. It's kind of how The Last of Us works, and like some of these stories, man, are like some of the best, like emotional, powerful, depressing, beautiful, hopeful. Like they hit all sorts of different like range of emotions. Like some of the events in this game are genuinely shocking.
Yeah, I've heard things about some of them.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not even talking about the ending, which is like which you have to play through. like all the other stuff is like things that happen around you, whereas like there's an ending, which is just like I have to play through this, and like this is you're not given a choice. Like in any other game, you would be given a choice, and it would be like you can choose to do this or this. In this, it's like no, the main character of Joel, is so strong, and the storytelling is so strong that like this is Naughty Dog's story. So this is what happens, and you just have to experience it. And like the story of The Last of Us is impeccable. And again, it I played it like 7 years ago, which is probably why it's like not as fresh in your mind as God of War. Like you should play both, but I wouldn't push The Last of Us as hard as God of War because I tailor my recommendations to the people I am talking to. I didn't even mention the giraffe scene, which is just a thing of beauty, which is the clip that we used to play on all of our intros. Like, for me, I was eyeing up The Last of Us for number 3. Like, just to fully throw that out there and just like lay bare the machinations of this game that we play with each other. Like, that was what I was eyeing up.
About 5 minutes into your diatribe, I was thinking this like, so The Last of Us is definitely going above God of War.
I mean, we'll see.
We'll see. Nah. All pretense abandoned.
All pretense abandoned. Look, right, I tipped my hand in a conversation with you in a podcast probably some point in the past talking about telling you to buy this fucking game. In fact, it was Hall of Fame. When the first episode of Hall of Fame, I inducted God of War, and I was like, this is the game of the generation.
Yeah.
It's the same generation as most of these games. But, I mean, while we're talking about The Last of Us, like, if you truly want Titanfall 2, and I know you do, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't have brought it up, above The Last of Us, I will acquiesce to that. Whilst also being like, if this was my personal list, no.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. It's like, I haven't played The Last of Us or the God of War, so I have a lesser indication of some of the impact some of these scenes would have.
But I'm not putting Titanfall 2 any higher. I can't.
Okay.
I can't justify putting it above the only 2 games that we've got left after it.
Yeah.
So, before we talk about our last 2 games, before we have a showdown.
Yeah.
A showdown that gives this video. That gives this series its title. I'm just going to do one last check-in. There you go, everybody. You can see we've almost done a top 10 list. Top 10 games of the decade, 2010 to 2019. Number 10 is Monster Prom. Number 9 is Halo Reach. Number 8 is Nier Automata. Number 7 is Doom 2016. Number 6 is Bloodborne. Number 5 is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Number 4 is The Last of Us. Number 3 is Titanfall 2. We've got 2 games that aren't crossed off on the right-hand side, as you can probably see if you're watching. If not, they are God of War and Mass Effect 2. Like, one of the... Okay, God of War is one of the newest games on this list.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 2 is like the first game that came out in this decade. So that's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it should tell you something about the impact that Mass Effect 2 has had. I mean, if this was my list, I'd probably like to swap out Mass Effect 2 and Titanfall 2 just because that's me. I didn't really play Mass Effect 2, if you remember correct. What I did,
that's true. Yeah.
I sat behind you for your second playthrough, and I made all the decisions, and you did all the fighty fight.
I did all the shooty shoot.
Yeah, because this is what we did for Mass Effect, because back then I came over, I sat behind you. We'd like go to the chippy or something, or grab the cans of pop from your little shops, and I would watch you play. Like after that was like after Resident Evil 2, we were like reruns of
No, I did a
came Mass
speed run of
Effect.
Resident Evil 2, and I got it down
Yeah,
at like an hour 50.
yeah,
I was impressed. That was impressive, like for me. The I mean that's nowhere near world record pace, but still.
yeah,
No, like I love playing games like that. Well, the other night, and this is a tangent. Don't care. It's my video. I can do what I want. This is like when we were playing Jedi at
yeah,
your house because I've finished the game. You haven't. You having trouble with the boss, and then
yeah.
it was like, well, why don't you go and get more stims? And we passed the controller backwards and forwards. It was like, oh, I'm having a bit of trouble here. Like, I'll do this shit. What are the controls again? Ah.
And you and while we were doing this, like you're looking up on the phone, you saw an entire section of a game that you've never seen. Oh, well, it'd be really easy just to go for this Venerator.
It's
Like a
just up there.
20. This is like a 20 to 30 minute section of the game you've never
Yeah.
seen before.
It was just like it's just up there. How could that be? Took us like half an hour. There was a boss fight. It was a thing.
It's like,
Like to me, that's how I love playing. Like that's one of the ways. Like it's one of the reasons why the charity streams are my favorite things to do
yeah,
because like that's how I love playing games. Like I don't know, we don't like it's a thing from when we were teenagers because that's all
yeah,
we used to play. That's the only way we used to play games. Like
yeah. One
whereas
person playing, one person sitting behind. Yeah,
passing the controller. Whereas now, obviously, for reasons, it's not a thing that we can really do logistically. But anyway, yes, that
yeah,
is how you play Mass Effect 2. I remember. That was fun.
yeah. Um, the music for Mass Effect 2 was amazing.
Very true. Like
There were,
the two things you said about Mass Effect 2 are also true of God of War. Like the story, awesome. The music,
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Um, I remember like this whole thing where it's like, oh, you're gonna go the 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 interesting decision to kill off your character at the beginning of the and then bring them back. This whole change of the nature of the game you play, the whole storyline was amazing. Yet making these decisions about your character, what's going to happen with people, siding with different people in arguments,
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
missions,
I try
cause
not to
up them
hold
with
the
their trust.
binary. I try not to hold the binary sort of morality system against it because it came well before games seemed capable of doing like more than good and bad options.
Yeah, although D&D games have normally been doing the 9 alignments
Yeah,
quite
but
a
those are
while.
alignment.
Yeah,
I feel like if
Uh,
Mass Effect 2, because remember, like, I mean, if you compare it like Neverwinter Nights, which like unlocked different things depending on your alignments and whatnot,
yeah,
that was on CRPG. It didn't have like fully mocapped voice acted
yeah.
cutscenes. Um, Here's Mass Effect 2. It's on 12 discs. Oh shit.
Ah, you ought to play it though.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, because that was an amazing game. With some amazing choices and decisions and consequences in it. Like you don't reinforce certain section of the whole. Bye to a character before you even sit
Yeah.
down. You can make accidental like choices which impact it like on how many crew members die or if it's specific individuals die because you don't think something through. Like, oh wait, I've got a robot. Damn. You,
Ah,
Amy knows what I'm referring
I
to.
know what you're referring to. Never forgive you.
Accidentally killed off one of your favorite characters.
Indeed. Accidentally. The
But yeah,
yeah. Hey, I'm not denying it's an amazing game. I haven't mentioned it yet. Like it's not like I've gone,
at all.
let's put it down at number 10. Like, no. Duh.
No,
It's in italics
you
for a
did
reason.
have you did have almost a heart attack when you thought I was discussing it when I was discussing Halo Reach, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Um
it's a really good game which had I want to say really good legacy. It is widely regarded as the best Mass Effect game.
I mean,
Um,
that bar's not that bar's not super high
yeah, there's only 4 games. Um,
of varying quality.
yeah. It did so many like like things right. It has an enduring legacy. For people like being like a truly good BioWare game. I think it may have been even voted as one of the best BioWare games ever by in our little friendly debates.
It was.
Second one we ever did. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think it's a real strong contender for the top there. I know it's going against a game that you are always screaming at me full bore that like is an amazing game, beyond the shadow of a doubt. Um, but I think it's got the cojones to go against Christopher Judge, and you know how strong I think Christopher Judge.
If Christopher Judge was the only thing going for God of War, God of War would be. It'd probably still be in the long list, but it wouldn't be in the top 10.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, Mass Effect 2, like the suicide mission is another one of those perfect moments. Like I was
yeah,
talking about before, like the whole mission. It's a masterclass of like level design, mission design, choice,
yeah.
consequence. And you know what? Like, cool. God of War doesn't really have choice and consequence. Like, again, it's like I was talking about The Last of Us. It's the vision
Mm.
of a writing team. I don't know. I watched a 2 hour documentary about it. There were people in it who were like, "I'm sure you had something to do with the writing." But anyway, like it was mostly. I watched the documentary mostly because Cory Barlog. I wanted to just hug him by the end of it.
Yeah.
But the the story is one of the strongest stories in video game history.
Hmm.
Like God of War 1 to 3, they were like these heavy metal action games where you were this fucking dickhead who just jumped about and very violently murdered gods, hence the name. And that was it. And it was like, cool, they were entertaining, but they were nothing really more than that. And then they
Hmm.
rebooted the franchise of God of War. And I could go in very great detail about what the thinking behind God of War 2018 was.
Hmm.
But I won't. I'll save you that. There's a documentary on YouTube called Raising Kratos. If you're interested, you should go watch it. Cause I find the behind the scenes makings of most video games to be fascinating, but this one was extra fascinating. Um, but this was something different. You were talking before about Final Fantasy 15 and like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a portrayal of like male friendship in a non-toxic way, and you just don't really see that in video games. You
Yeah.
barely see that in media, like as a
Yeah.
whole. This is a non-toxic portrayal of a father-son relationship, like a father who is absent for most of the son's life, and then they've got to go on this quest because the mother's died and she wants her ashes scattered on the top of a mountain in this
Yeah.
like Norse mythological world. Um, and that's the core of the game is like these two characters trying to relate to each other, like, and like they don't erase any of Kratos' history of being a dick who ran around and murdered a bunch of gods. Um, like, which I think was a really good move. Because that comes up again, like a lot as like he's trying to move beyond his past. Like one of the iconic quotes of the game, of which there are a lot, um, is like Kratos telling his son, "Do not be sorry, be better." Like he's almost talking to himself as much as he's talking to Atreus. Like it's a journey that was just staggering from start to finish. Like there was never a point where I was playing God of War and I was bored, or I was wishing to like we were doing something else, or like, oh, it's a bit slow, or oh, this bit's not this part of the story isn't so great. It's like, nope, start to finish, just like it was consistently like this game is a 10. Like I know we don't do that around these parts, but like, for the sake of it, this game is a 10, and it was just a 10 all the way across the board. There was never a moment where I was like, maybe it's not.
Hmm.
Also, the whole game is one shot. And watching how they did that, how they programmed that like into a video game, like like the camera starts, you push start X to start the game, and then the menu becomes the game. It's like I think it's like a handprint on a tree, and then he hits the tree with the axe, and the camera pulls out, and then from that moment to the end, the camera never cuts. Like the camera is one shot for like those 30 hours that I played the game. Also, it's a lot of fun to play. You can throw the axe, and in 30 hours, it never gets bored.
Yeah, I've heard you can mow near the axe.
The axe is cool. You can mew mew, as Mr. Moody would say. It's my game of the generation. And I've never had to answer the question, is it my game of the decade? Until now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
personally, yes. Yes, it is. Without a doubt. Mass Effect 2 is amazing. God
Here's
of War
the little-
is just a little bit amazing.
Here's a little thing to think about, though. In 3 days, Mass Effect 2 will be 10 years old.
I mean, okay. What's your point?
We're still talking about it.
I
10
guarantee
years later.
I guarantee if we're both still alive and I haven't killed you in one of these videos or vice versa, in 2038, I'll still be talking about God of War. Especially if you haven't played it.
So, in 20 years' time.
Yes. Like, yeah, we're still talking about Mass Effect 2 now. And we're still going to be talking about Mass Effect 2 in 10 years' time, without a doubt. We'll probably be going, hey, remember BioWare? Oh, I just made myself really sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll be talking, like, God of War is just one of those for the rest of my life games. So is Mass Effect 2. Like, and so is Titanfall 2, and The Last of Us, and The Witcher 3. Bloodborne, Doom, Nier, Halo, probably even Monster Prom. Like, are all games I'll still be talking about in a decade's time. Like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, yeah, just because God of War's only been out for a year and a half, 2 years, a year and a half, nearly 2 years. Like, it's one of those things. It's an impasse. You know what? We've had a couple of firsts on this old podcast so far. So let me just do something that nobody except you and me can see. Like, it's our podcast. We can do what we want.
We frequently do.
What about that?
Yeah, sure.
Like, do you think is that within the rules of friendly debates?
It sounds like a cop out, but yeah.
I mean, it's 100% a cop out, but this video is 2 hours long already, and it could easily go another hour with us and dissecting every part of God of War and Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, this is the problem with this was that me not having played the game, me just having heard about the game, seen various
Well, I'll
videos
tell you
and
what.
discussions about the game.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna do 2 things. Right?
Yeah.
I am gonna come around your house and I'm gonna beat
Bang
you
on
up.
me.
No, I'm gonna come around your house, right? Because I don't know if you can gift games on PlayStation Store. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna buy God of War with my own money for you to play. And then once you've played it, we will do a special patch notes video of just Mass Effect 2 and God of War. Well, we will
see
hash
which
this
one, right?
out. We will talk about both games with the perspective of you having played it. Played both of them. And then we will figure out how this actually goes down.
Probably be cheaper to get it from a computer exchange than buy it off the PlayStation Store.
It's a PlayStation Classic, mate. It's $15.99 on the PlayStation Store. And I can pay for that on my mobile phone. So, I've just switched to server so everybody can see what we're talking about. another first in Friendly Debates history. Here is the top 10 list as it stands. At number 10, we have Monster Prom. At number 9, Halo Reach. At number 8, Nier Automata. At number 7, Doom 2016. At number 6, Bloodborne. At number 5, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. At number 4, The Last of Us. Number 3, Titanfall 2. And then in joint first, TBD, we have God of War 2018 and Mass Effect 2. I'm happy with both of those being equally as renowned, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. You chose both of them.
Yes. Let's not make a habit of it, though.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add about how this list has turned out as a whole?
Obviously, there are a lot of games that we wish could have been on. Long-time viewers of this will have noticed that there was no Supergiant games.
I was
on
caught
this
off
list.
guard by a couple of your picks. As I'm sure you were caught off guard by a couple of mine.
Mm.
Although I broadcast all of my opinions about video games so loudly and so frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, though I did look at some of the games from Supergiant Games. Obviously, I haven't played Hades yet. I've got it installed, but I've been waiting for it to finish it. And I did think it's like some of these games are amazing, and the feels that Bastion gave me in Pyre was awesome. I didn't think they were quite Game of the Decade material, even though they are like hand on heart, like pretty much my favorite publisher at the moment.
One of mine. Respawn's up there. Sony Santa Monica. Naughty Dog. From Software. id. Most of the developers on this top 10 list.
Yeah.
Not so much BioWare and CD Projekt Red at the moment.
Yeah.
Or Bungie, to be fair.
Mm.
But yeah, like there was tons of games missing. Like again,
Yeah.
if I'd made my own list, it would look very different to this one.
Yeah.
But that's what's cool about Friendly Debates. Like I would have never in a million years, having put this list together yesterday after you gave me the list, would have been like, I looked at Monster Prom and I was like, all right, cool. Well, that'll give me something
The cut.
easy to cut. And it was like, nope, it's in the top 10. Like that's what's cool about the way we do this.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
No, legit.
Monster Prom is. It's one of those games. If you've heard it and like, what? But if you've seen it,
If you've played it or you've seen someone playing it, it's an entirely different thing. You'll hear in the description, you'll go, that's weird, and then you'll watch it or you'll play it and you'll be like, this is amazing.
it's like, oh, I've never played a dating sim game. You've really missed the point of this game.
Yeah, 100%. Again, my favorite thing I've ever done in the game was this thing where it was like, it's not even about a date. I wasn't trying to get a date at the Monster Prom.
You're trying to bring corpses.
I became the queen of a fucking furry community.
Yeah.
And lived happily ever after. Halo Reach at number 9, though.
Yeah.
Because I just want to quickly go through stuff.
Yeah.
Is a good one. Nier Automata, again, if it was my list, it would be higher, but Democracy in action.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm too dissatisfied with the amazing games above it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good list. It's a strong list. There's no wrong answers in any of the lists that we do, especially the stupid ones. But I mean, top 10 games of the decade there's no wrong answers.
Yeah.
All of these games are incredible.
Unless you're in the comment section.
Yeah, well, remember what I said at the beginning. Don't take this list too seriously because we aren't. Although I have finally convinced Keith to play God of War. All I have to do is buy it. I think I knew deep down in my heart that was coming. Keith, that's going to do it for episode 12 of Friendly Debates. We're back. Every few weeks we're going to be doing this. It's going to be great. We're probably going to do a really silly one next time to sort of cool off from this really serious one.
we did come up with an idea halfway through. I just can't remember what it was.
I'll let you know. Say bye.
Bye-bye.